darkness, I found my light. With Jesus by my side, I conquer every fight. Walking in faith, I won't be afraid. His love surrounds me, my fears will fade. Hope is my anchor, love is my guide. With Jesus I'll overcome, I'll never hide. A warrior of strength, in His name I rise. In a world of chaos, His love never dies.
She's an award-winning author, speaker, owner of GodlyGranny.com, and podcast host, sharing the truth with you. This is the Michelle Moore Show.
Since we had so much fun last time, and I did it solo, we're going to talk about some Michelle Moore products. The dog shampoo. It's going to make your dogs look good. No, we're not. We know the rules. Any other guy, I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. We're going to talk about how we feel. At the end of the show, I'm going to talk about anxiety. So stay with us. Michelle's got her intro, and she's letting me run it solo today. Michelle Moore Show. You got to share this. Going on. We're going to talk about vaccines. What's going on? So much. Hey, you better laugh. If you don't, you'll cry. Ask me how I'm feeling. Are you anxious? Got to stay to the end of the show. And we're going to talk about the dog shampoo right off the bat. You can go to Michelle.com, MichelleMoore.com. Go there, buy her show, buy it. Don't I clean up well? Don't I clean up good? Hey, you need to buy the dog shampoo. It's apricot, non-scented, either one. This song, I sent it to my wife this morning, but it could be for your pet. You're never going to give your dog up, right? Michelle's hiring me. I can feel it. We haven't known each other a long time, but God bless y'all. I love Michelle. Love being on the podcast. I ran it solo last time, and I did such a good job. She said, "Hey, how about do it again?" so the dog shampoo, apricot unscented. Buy now on the Michelle Moore. GodlyGranny.com. That's what you want to do. Go there. You want to go to GodlyGranny.com. Get the shampoo for your dogs. I'm a Vizsla breeder. Man, good shampoo for your dogs is and it's it doesn't make them itch and all that stuff. What they call that hyperallergenic. I can't spell it, but I can kind of say it. It's southern a little bit, but that shampoo, that's what you want to get for all your little dogs. Cujo or Fifi, whichever one you got. And we got the laundry detergent, all the scents there, and it's 32 ounces, 64 loads per. Now I don't know. When I was batching it, I would have stretched that out even. That'd have been 128. So you need to go in there, 5% off on this right now. Go to GodlyGranny.com. That's where you can get the laundry. Yep. That's what you need to do. All right. We're going to talk about a lot of different things today. We're going to start out with talking about the documentaries. Michelle has documentaries 2 days a week. And so these documentaries are going to talk about the failing malls and the block stores are closing up, because everybody's buying online. This documentary, you want to watch this, it'll help you. Also, too, the documentary on aspartame, I want to tell you, my step great grandmother died from this, actually, caused stomach cancer. So that documentary is coming up. You want to watch that as well. So that's that'll be on this week. All right, Ron, let's pop up the first thing. We're going to talk about a lot of negative stuff right off the bat and get it all out of our system. Then we're going to do some fun stuff, and then we're going to talk about farming. I'm going to give you the things that I do, what I do in this time we're in. So pop up the stuff on the vaccines. So you see this, this independent doctor urges the caution after FDA approves first mRNA flu shot. Listen, folks, please, I'm begging you, do not take this thing. Tell your loved one, tell your friends, do not take this. There are doctors reporting on this that this has 75% adverse reactions. Please, we've been through this with COVID, folks. We've been through this. Don't do this. It's all been, approved, whatever approved means. Don't do this. And then we'll go to the next one, Ron.
In our mission to make America healthy again, today we're proud to officially announce the United States of America's gold standard childhood vaccination recommendations, and that has to do with many subjects, but including autism in particular. I want to thank the...
Listen, folks, please, we've been through this. We've talked about this, about vaccines. All the bottles will still be in the doctor's office. So they're going to go from 18 recommended to 11. All right. But here's the issue. The issue is the gold standard would be, how about none? That's the gold standard, because we don't know what's in these things. And we know that autism, is off the charts. Also, when I wrote my farm plan, one of the things in my farm plan, if I was going to meet with President Trump, part of my sales pitch is children between 1 and 17, 50% of them have a chronic illness. 50%, 1 through 17. So autism, whatever, but there's chronic disease rampant among young people, and it's 50%. In my farm plan to introduce good food into schools, hospitals, and the military, that would have corrected 1/3 of that. And that was part of my sales pitch, which we're spending $1.3 trillion in this area on children, on these chronic diseases. And if good food, that my farm plan, is that a good sales pitch, folks? Good sales pitch? Yeah. Trump's a businessman, but he's running the country the wrong way. So now that's not Michelle. These opinions, what I was supposed to give that disclaimer, right? The opinions here, they're not necessarily that if those are have you on their show. So anyway, Ron, let's go to the next clip.
The long-awaited conversation about the new mRNA flu vaccine. I was doing a lot of digging before I wanted to have my opinion. I wanted facts. I didn't want feelings, because that gets you nowhere. So let's talk about it. This study, first off, the flu vaccine, the mRNA vaccine, is approved for 50 and above. So if you're not 50 years old right now, you don't have to worry about it. Now you will, because it's coming. But as of right now, it's for 50-year-olds and above. So what did they do? They studied the new mRNA vaccine compared to the original vaccine that most people get, the regular dose, and the high dose for people over 50. Now, it was about 41,000 people. Now, when I tell you they compared it to the standard dose versus the high dose, for ages like 50 to 65, when you're that age, you get a standard dose of the flu vaccine. When you're above 65, you get a high dose flu vaccine. That is common practice. So they studied this mRNA vaccine against getting that versus your appropriate dose for your age. Okay. Now, here's what they found. 2.2% with the flu vaccine still got the flu. And 2.9%, excuse me, I said that backwards. I want to be right. 2.2% got the flu after getting vaccinated with the mRNA vaccine. 2.9% still got the flu after the regular vaccine. So here's where you have to pay attention to science, because that is a 27% difference. Ta-da! And they're going to flash it like that. Look, it's 27% more effective. Okay, kind of, if you do the math like that, but realistically only 0.7% more people got infected. So that's like girl math, and they're using like girl math, and that in science, I feel like you shouldn't use girl math. I think you should just use facts. So you have almost relatively close statistically same, if you ask me. Now, here's what they didn't do. They did not study longer than 6 months of effects. Okay, we all know what that can look like because we've already been down this road circa 2020. But here's what they did find. I have an entire list. You can screenshot my little dirty chicken scratch, but here we go. I'm going to give you the response in the mRNA vaccine first, the regular vaccine second. So local reaction, 67% more likely in the mRNA versus 32% in the regular. Systemic reaction, 58% in the mRNA versus 32% in the regular vaccine. Fever, 5.8% likely in the mRNA vaccine versus 0.9% in the other. Headache, fatigue. Oh, fatigue was big. Fatigue was 45% likely in the mRNA versus 20% likely in the other. Now, those are just kind of, benign side effects. However, this is what they don't want you to know. Unsuspected deaths, 23 in the mRNA vaccine versus 9 in the flu vaccine. Now, that's a big difference. If we use their girl math that they had used prior, that's over 100 and 200% fold risk. But they're not going to say that. It's like, oh, it's only 10 more deaths, 13 more deaths, 14 more deaths, whatever. That's nothing because they don't want you to use girl math then. They'll want you to use girl math in the other, though. So if we're going to compare apples to apples, I think that's how you would do it. Now, unsolicited adverse reactions, 5.9 versus 5.7. Myocarditis. They're even checking for that now. Why? Because we went through 2020. 10 patients got myocarditis with the mRNA vaccine compared to 7 with the regular vaccine. So these are just the numbers I'd like for you to know. Again, I want you to know they did not study long-term effects. More than 6 months, they did not study. They also did not study if you get this new mRNA vaccine, does it decrease transmission to your friends around you? And then, of course, you can always ask about shedding vaccine because that is a thing. So I'm not here to tell you whether you should or should not get this vaccine if you're over 50, but that is the actual information. There is a 92-page document that you can certainly sift through. You can also use AI technology to sum it up for you and give you a non-biased summary if you'd like. But those are very, very, to me, alarming statistics that they seem to be brushing under the rug. But what do I know? But that's everything I've got for you about the flu vaccine. Now you can go make an informed decision.
And let's talk about this, folks. If you don't know by now, or if your friends don't know by now, something's going on in the vaccine world. I mean, that means the elevator's not going all the way to the top floor. And with the childhood vaccines, if you'll notice that Trump and Bobby Kennedy are doing all this, the only reason when this came out, I called a doctor friend of mine and I said, hey, give me the scoop. Give me the scoop. Why is Trump doing this executive order? And think about it. Here's what we don't know. We don't know when the executive order goes into effect. And you do know that when the next president comes in, that executive order can go away. So I called this doctor friend of mine. And I said, what's up with the EO, the executive order? And she said the only reason that Bobby Kennedy and President Trump are doing this is so that the Maha moms won't throw Trump under the bus and before the midterms. Midterms are coming up, and the Republicans are going to get slaughtered, and President Trump will be a lame up president. His rating right now is at 34%. I don't even believe it's that high, which is lower than any president since 1953. And what you have to understand is that the moms across America, Maha moms, all this, if you don't believe me, you just go Google search Sean Hannity and President Trump's Levitt lady that speaks and get her. Oh, we're so excited about this. Wait, they're so excited about this vaccine, but they're putting PFAS chemicals. They've been, more of those on the food. It's completely backwards, folks. It's completely backwards. Look at all the stuff they're doing. They're claiming all this stuff about food and all this. It's not true. If you want to know if a person is in the government is lying, their mouth's moving, and that's what you need to know. So stay away from the doctor. Listen, this is my personal opinion. I wouldn't take a child. I wouldn't take an older person to the doctor and get any of this stuff at this point. So share this with your friends. And Ron, go to the next video, and we need to not be afraid about this. And I made a video of this during COVID.
Hey, don't be a chicken. It's just bird flu.
This was at the end of COVID. I made this video at the end of COVID about bird flu was coming out. You know, it's always some sort of flu. You know, something's always fluing. But I made that video. It's a funny video. And yes, I do own a Canon. And I did shoot that blow up chicken I got for $23 on Amazon. But I was trying to get people to encourage people not to, you know, I was trying to encourage them to do other things, because at that time I owned a vet med company and I could do other things. But I made that video, and this is one of the things, folks. Please don't be afraid of all this stuff. Don't be afraid of it. And the verse in the Bible would be 2 Timothy 1:7. God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Sound mind means you think straight. So don't do this stuff, and don't be afraid of it. And then we're going to jump into the next things that are coming down the pike. Now we're going to jump into the food. Here's the deal. America now imports 60% of its fruits. And when I went to Washington, D.C., and I gave Bobby Kennedy my farm plan, it was to create 250,000 new farms per year. So we were going to hit 1 million farms, 50 new processing centers, because we were at a 25% import. Now that's increasing. And now you can see that America is now importing 60% of all its fruits and 38% of its vegetables. And that's the problem. See, we were at 25%. That was in May 2025. And you can see the increase. And then you'll see in the next video, next picture they're going to pop up, you'll see that there's 33% steepest jump in 50 years in food. The thing is, folks, what's happening is we're going to lose 140,000 farms, ranchers taking beating, foreclosures are on the rise. We're importing all this beef from Argentina and all these places, and 33%. But what I want to tell you is one of the things that's happening this week that people don't really talk about, that part of this is due to inflation. And inflation is how inflation works is when they print money, the dollar loses power. Then that means products go up. I found out on Sunday that the United States government, the Treasury, is going to print and pump $80 billion into the banking system this week. So what you're going to see is that inflation, that number, I'm going to say probably 60 days will be at 39%. So you need to buckle up, need to learn to grow your own food. You need to learn how to do things a certain way. I mean, last week's video, I showed how to buy in Walmart and store stuff and make sprouted beans and all that. And I'm going to show some other videos of what I do in this time we're in, and things are so expensive. And then the next clip that Ron's going to show you is what's really going on behind the scenes in the orchard world. So you'll see the U.S. government is using $9 million in taxpayer dollars to destroy 420,000 perfect peach trees. The reason, and I'll tell you, this is actually way bigger than what people realize. What they're using in the Washington state, one of the things they're dozing a lot of these is these canning facilities have shut down. Del Monte's fell bankruptcy. There's a couple of others. And these orchards have nowhere to go because canning was one of their number ones, local, fresh, and then canning. and they made money off that. Since the canneries are shut down, and what's happening is the data centers are using these giant cooler storage facilities to put servers in. And the issue is that there's 10 counties there in California that those peach growers and fruit growers there are going to lose $550 million. This is just a few varieties of fruit, 550 million, and they're going to pay 9 million. Folks, this is the joke. Why are we importing all this food and we're dosing and paying farmers to dose it? This is nonsense. This is good information for you to understand how important it is for you to plant, grow your own stuff, you know, because it's good. It's going to be a hard time soon, very soon. All right, Ron, roll the next clip.
Hey, driver. Hey, put your hands up and walk back to me. Hey, anybody else in the car?
My daughter and my son.
Oh, how old are they?
My daughter, my daughter, my girlfriend, my son.
Okay.
My son, he's a newborn, he's a month and a half. My girlfriend, she's 28.
All right, bye. The reason I'm stopping you is your plate's stolen.
You said it's who?
It's coming back stolen. Your license plate. You got your ID on your phone?
Yeah, I got my wallet.
Where's your wallet at?
My pocket.
Okay.
It's not my vehicle though.
Whose vehicle is
It's
it?
my girlfriend's vehicle.
Okay. Hey, man. Just come on back here for me. All right, man. Just for right now, you're just gonna be detained, okay? More people in the car. Yeah. You said a month and a half old in the car?
That's my newborn son.
We're just gonna come back over here, okay? You're just detained until we figure everything out, okay? No weapons on you?
Nah, none of this. I got her keys in my pocket though for the truck.
This lighters?
Yeah, this is the light.
Just have a seat. Yeah. A month and a half year old and his girlfriend.
Here, let me see your hands. All right, just go ahead and step out.
Can I ask what's going on?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Just 1 second.
31. Can you confirm your 28?
I know you got a small baby.
214, stand by. '28 is going to be Adam Paul X-ray 55 X-ray APX 55X Black Tahoe.
Yep, sir. More that plate is showing 52. Just unconfirmed insurance.
He said it's 52.
If you just want to lay it against my head real quick.
Okay.
Are you sure?
So the car was showing up as stolen, so we're just confirming.
Oh shit! No, this is my car.
Yeah, it might be a mix-up in the system, so if it is,
Oh my
then y'all will be good to go.
No, this is my car. I just had it stored because it's been wrecked. I had to get new tires and stuff on it. The snow, it's been put up.
Okay. Hopefully, if that's the case, he's just going to confirm.
Oh my god!
I just heard it over the radio, and he was out there, and so.
Actually, he sure was like he cut his lights on. I said, who cut his lights on? I didn't even know there was a police behind us.
I was en route, and they said it was stolen out of Little Rock, so.
Your license good, boss? Is your license good?
Like I said, he's going to do his due diligence.
I got my registration and stuff in there if you want to see.
Is it in the glove box?
It's actually in my purse.
Okay. You mind if I go ahead and you mind if I grab that real quick?
I don't care. It's the pink MK purse.
The pink one? Oh, my bad.
in the middle.
I gotcha. So can you see that tag in front of you? APX55X. So APX55Y is the one stolen. So it's not yours. You flagged one of our cameras, and so that's why we stopped you, because we thought it was the other place. So give me 1 second, I'll get you out of cuffs. Okay, Bob?
Welcome to the surveillance world of the United States of America and flock cameras. This is a mistake, and here's the deal. They were guilty, right? That they had them guilty until proven innocent instead of innocent until proven guilty. This is coming, folks, to a town near you. I'm getting reports. I hunt. I'm a big hunter. I'm getting reports that are in wilderness areas on old dirt roads. There's flock cameras, and they're wanting to know where we are at all times. And the way that works is that flock camera read that license plate, and there's actually some Rust-Oleum clear stuff I don't recommend doing that, but it can't read it. Anyway, let's go from flock to grok. Or Glock.
Good Morning Taylor Farms is issuing another recall, this time for salsas, guacamole, and other ready-to-eat products. This is over salmonella contamination, and these products are sold everywhere. I'm going to read them off to you. Trader Joe's, Whole Foods under the 365 brand, Kroger, Simple Truth, Target's Good and Gather, Walmart's Market Side, and then other unbranded Taylor Farms packaging. The products were sold under all of those different brands and distributed across 26 states. No illnesses have been reported thus far, but be sure to check your fridge and cross-reference things to make sure you're not eating any of that.
And as of this morning, the jalapenos are on that too. So the Taylor Farms foods. But listen, I honestly believe that it's just a sideshow. Now, is some of it may have tainted stuff in it? Yeah, probably so. But they use agriculture and they use food to control what's going on the narrative in America. And the real issue is lab-grown food, lab-grown meat, lab-grown bacon, lab-grown pork, lab-grown fats, all these things. This is a distraction. Yes. Is it causing illness? Is it causing those things? This is why it's important for you to grow your own food and to know what you're putting in your body, even if it's jalapenos. Can you believe that? Jalapenos. That's, it's crazy. It's crazy. So let's roll the next one, Ron.
Well, the bees are dying. They were claiming catastrophic, historic losses this last year. 60 to 80% of all bees, all honeybees in the U.S., just dead. They're gone. Cornell University, they have a hunch. Their hunch is that it's neonicotinoids and pesticides in monocrop farming. Well, I'm here to tell you, I don't have a hunch. I know what it is. I went to Cornell University to get my master beekeepers. My final paper was on neonicotinoid. Neonicotinoid is a type of pesticide that is extremely strong, so it makes it extremely effective. It lives systemically in the plant. And if you have a plant with really dense tissue, like a tree trunk, it holds on to that poison for years. So if you're spraying your tree every year, it's getting more and more potent to the point where when it blossoms in the spring, if a honeybee was to feed off of that nectar, it could disorient and not even make it back to the hive, or it could just drop dead on the flower. Neonicotinoids are used in lawn sprays. If you ever have anyone knocking at your door and wanting to spray your lawn saying, oh, we don't spray the flowers, it's all affecting everything. It gets in the groundwater when the farmers spray their crops. And this is one of the main reasons that the monarch butterfly migration is depleting. It's because of these neonicotinoids. But of course, it's super effective.
Well, she's about 80% correct on this. What she's saying, I would follow what she's saying. But there's another portion about this that they're not talking about, and that is the 5G and those things like that, because France and Italy did away with the neonicotinoids, however you say it, that chemical several years ago, and they still are having the colonial collapse, and the bees are forgetting where they're going. But let's face it, folks, what they're spraying over the top of us, our EPA is admitting that they're spraying us, and the metals in the air, the nanotechnology, the 5G, 6G, And we were at last November when I've got a friend that's been beekeeper for 42 years. He said that they were at 75% collapse last November. He said when you reach 80%, it's almost irrecoverable because you just can't multiply bees that fast. And the word is down in Texas, the largest bee guy down there in the state of Texas lost 19,000 hives. Folks, this is very, very serious. When you lose your bees, I've only seen one honeybee, and I'm working on something, and Michelle and I are working on a show coming up on how to improve your environment to help these bees. We're working on that. That show will be coming up about the atmosphere and what's going on, because the 5G and 6G are definitely playing a huge role in what's going on. NexRad, if you don't know what NexRad is, they say it's the reed storms. Well, it's way more than that. But when the bees disappear, folks, pollination is big time. A lot of people are having problems in their gardens and things like that with pollination, not enough tomatoes, things like that. Well, that's because our bee numbers, and it's not just bees. I noticed the bumblebee numbers are even down as well. I've noticed the wasp numbers are down as well this year. Way less butterflies here where I am. So it's all of them. There's something going on in the atmosphere, and our government can fix this, but they're not going to. Let's go to the next one, Ron. Hi, everybody. I have an online farm school, sas-usa.com. It's $500. You have a lifetime membership to the farm school. You do have to rebuy the calendar every year because the moon phase changes. The calendar changes. It's on a 28-day cycle. And I wanted to show everybody, so we just started harvesting potatoes. We have about 30 15-pound boxes of the organic huckleberry. Now, this variety is hard to find, and what I love about this variety is it stores so well. And the reason that I always grow tons and tons of potatoes, even if I didn't even sell any, I store at least 1,200 pounds a year, because if things go wrong, you can do so much with potatoes. What I want to show you is what you need to do. So when you get your box of potatoes, you're going to take them out of the box. You need to go get you one of these plastic crates. You can steal one from your local grocery store, go around back, like do it at midnight. Or best way to do it so you not in trouble, you just order these. You can order these 4 packs or whatever. But I want to show you, this potato is 11 months old. And in the springtime, what I do is I like this size potato, or golf ball size potato, and I just chunk it in the ground. Now, I do plant this, the right phase of the moon is in the downward sign. You want to plant it in the dark of the moon. Because if you don't, the energy flow is going upward, like for corn or things like that. You grow carrots, they're real short, just because you're planting them and the energy flow is upward. Planting things for downward growth is your green thumb. So if you're a first-time grower, this is going to be a game changer for you. Do not put these in raised beds. Do not grow these in baskets. Do not grow these in towers. Potatoes like dirt, okay? That's what they like. You're going to put a 10, 20, 30 fertilizer in 1 week, plow it in, and then you're going to heal that up, cut you a V, and then you're going to put these about 6 inches deep, and you're going to put them about 8 to 10 inches apart. But let's say you get a potato that's this size, and this is 11 months old. What I do, if I need to stretch my row out or I want to get more spacing, what I do is I would cut that like so, and then these would sprout. I see people, they cut them really tiny like this. That won't work. That's wrong, okay? That potato has to have some energy to survive off of. So that potato, this particular potato here, I would cut it so you would have 3. And then you could split this one right here like that. So that particular potato would be spaced out. You know, that would be a little further apart. And then each one of those should make, I'm getting 6 to 9 potatoes on my commercially fertilized. On my organic potatoes, I'm getting about 3. So This is how you do this. You never ever want to wash your potatoes when you store them. The temperature that these have to be stored is somewhere between about 35 and 75. You got to keep them dry. But if you wash that dirt off of these potatoes, I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, if you really clean them up, they're beautiful purple. But you'll see that they're yellow meated on the inside. And this potato is 11 months old, and there'll be nothing wrong with making mashed potatoes out of that now. That's why I like this variety. It stores so well. It's very disease resistant. And if you're a first time grower, it's a game changer because these make a ton. They can take harsh environments. You do need to water them a little bit. But this is what I wanted to show you. And you need to go on the Michelle Moore, the MichelleMoore.com, Michelle Moore Show. She's on every day through Monday through Friday. I do her podcast once a week. Tomorrow I'm doing her show solo. And I'm going to show the other two things that are the top three things that I grow, especially in this situation of where we are in the nation. Your food is poison. You know, there's all these recalls. Everybody's got diarrhea across the United States. Also, this is the first year that potatoes will be sprayed with an RNA spray. It's never been done before. These are organic, the ones in my other field. I only have 30 boxes of these left. This box is $89 shipped anywhere in the United States. Get your box, open it up, air it out. You also can go to sass-usa.com. You get my moonface calendar. You want to plant your potatoes on a green arrow down, and you want to do it early as you can in the spring. A lot of you boys in the South, it's going to be around February. So nobody can plant now. We're out of time. It's so important for you to do it this way and store your potatoes. And any size you have, like that size there, I would just plant it whole. Give me a follow on Out of the Wild 3D on Instagram. This is the Michelle Moore Show. And then you can go to ootwp3d.org. I'm raising money to save farms and ranches. Or you can go to sass-usa.com. My farm school's there. My online moonface calendar is there. Apothecary book. So much more. Free book on joy and a free book on healing in there. Now, folks, this is what's important. What's interesting is whenever I presented a farm plan to RFK, I wrote that farm plan in November 9th, 2024. And I not only did that, but I started the farm school and I made 180 something videos. We have about 40 more videos that we're about to put on. We add videos all the time. But the main source, there's my website right there, sass-usa.com. It's $500. And, the issue is that I'm sure y'all are seeing all this thing about how they're cutting and destroying books. Well, I know this firsthand because I have a friend of mine who works in a library, and they are actually getting rid of the books in the library that show you how to smoke meat, do things the old ways, and all that. The reason is because if you don't understand how things grow and how things are sufficiently done in the old farming world. When I was talking to Michelle, the reason I made that video yesterday, and it's really long and in depth, is because Michelle says, Steve, you need to kind of slow down and because you've forgotten more than we'll ever know, and you need to go through it. Well, what I can tell you is if you have a plastic crate, because somebody messaged me and said, well, where do I store them? My garage is cold and really hot. What I would do if you buy one box of potatoes from me or two, I'd buy one and eat one, and the other one I would save for planting. But what you would do is you want to put it in the coolest, darkest place in your house. If you have a basement, fine, but you don't have to have a basement. The main thing is you don't want that thing to heat up. You don't want the heat cranking on that thing blowing 78 degrees in November, because that potato is going to wake up and think spring's coming, thinks it's in Hawaii. So what I do is I keep mine. Now I have a big building, and it's old building that's built like in the 40s, and it has sawdust for insulation. Now that's where I keep mine. And I do put a little heat in there when it gets like 20 below or something like that, because I don't want them to freeze. But this is so important in planting these according to the moon phase. And don't plant in these. So many people plant in these baskets. You watch all this organic stuff. Don't. Go get you some commercial fertilizer. Get your ground broke up and use some commercial fertilizer and learn to be successful. Then ease into being organic. Okay? Because I grow half my crop organic, half not organic. Go watch my videos on Out of the Wild 3D. You'll see what happened to my organic ones. The elk and the deer, they ate 2/3 of the field. Matter of fact, I'm only going to dig 40 boxes out of an acre and a half of potatoes. It just, if you want to go organic and you just, you want to be like little Sally and running through there with your short shorts on and just live with nature and it's all unicorns and rainbows. No, that's false. Because bad things happen. Mother Nature is against you. And if you're out of order, Mother Nature doesn't care. And when you plant that potato, no, you're on that potatoes time. And no, you're not going on vacation, because if you go on vacation, Mother Nature is going to thump on you. See, farmers, that's why they had the fall festivals in the fall, because everybody worked their butt off, and then fall came around and they would take the culls and make stews and all these things and pies and cakes, and everybody celebrated the fall festival. It was after the harvest. See, nobody knows that anymore. And the moon phase calendar, you can buy that on my, I'm almost finished with 2029. 2026, the half the year is on there. You can buy half of 2026. You can buy 2027. You can buy 2028. I'm almost finished with 2029. It's important to print these off. This is the way, this is what it looks like. This is August. This is right now. And you'll see I put the green arrows down. Red X days are days you deworm. These are barren days. Parasites and worms. We've always wormed our animals, dewormed our animals on those days. You deworm on Red X days, you build fence, you do chores, you do all that stuff, but you don't go to the field, you don't mess with nothing. Now, when you get ready to plow in the fall, you do plow on a barren day because you want to kill bugs and you want to kill weeds, and you're not growing anything anyway. And all those dead bugs and weeds and all that stuff. And I have composting videos. So the $500, what's been so disappointing to me is not that RFK and President Trump didn't do my farm plan. It's how few people. I've told, I don't know how many. I've told so many ladies, one of you ladies buy my farm school, $500, and get 20 kids in that room and just go through it. There's 180 videos in there. We're about to add 30 or 40 more. And then you learn how to do the moon phase calendar. You learn how to do this. This stuff is the old ways, and it works. Now, what I want to show you is one of the things that I want you to do is you need a pen and paper, and you should write this down. You're going to go to Walmart, and you're going to go in there, and you're going to buy this bean, and it's called Fiesta. And this bean is Fiesta bean. It's a pinto bean. Okay. Buy a giant bag of it. It's great. It's a cheap food. It's very nourishing. And to my knowledge, there's no genetically modified pinto beans anywhere, to my knowledge. Okay. So what I did when I got to Idaho 8 years ago, I had left my pinto beans in Texas. So what I did is I went to Walmart, I bought Fiesta beans in a bag, and then I planted them. And you can plant them. You can sprout them and eat the sprouts. To my knowledge, none of them are GMO. I don't use any. And it's the easiest bean to grow. It's the poor man's bean. And what we do is when it grows, so we take that from Walmart and then we plant that and we plant them. And then when they get up and start making green beans, we pick them real small when they're green, and they got a string on them. So you got to snap them. That's where the word string means. So you peel that string off of them. So that's the first picking on that plant. And then what we do is we wait till that bean gets bigger, and then we pick some of it with a bean, and the bean's kind of white colored. And then we shell that, and we can that, and we make refried beans out of that. And then that plant will make again, same year. And then we let it go to fall, and then we go to dry beans. And this was the poor man's bean, and the people in the South, this is what we did. Now, this is another bean. This is an Amish bean. The Amish man gave this to me. And this is another one you can do exactly the same way. It's really has a little better flavor. And it's very prolific. And I think somebody said that they thought it was called a cattle bean. That's the proper name for it. I don't know. All I know is it makes tons and tons. And you can go to sas-usa.com. If you need information, if you have a question in here, this is a good time to ask a question. What do you need to know about farming and growing food that I'm not saying? Maybe I just take it for granted that and any question is a good question. If you don't know, no question is a dumb question. People say, well, what about keeping it in the refrigerator? No, don't do that. Because you don't want to refrigerate it, and you don't want to wash that bean. Any questions? Any questions, Ron? Excuse me. All right. We'll jump into the next segment then. Welcome to SAS. In today's lesson, this lesson is about laying your farm out. What you have to do is you have to get a plan on where you're going to farm, which direction the water runs, and this is literally our farm in Como, Texas that we used to farm on. So I wanted to show you this. This is a 40-acre field. Some of this field had woods on this side of the lake, but this basically we put an 8-acre lake in the bottom, and then we put a 1.5-acre pond here. We had, on these ponds, we established where we wanted to pump water out of, so we put a platform here that was portable, and we put a big pump. So B here is where we put a transfer pump if we needed to transfer water into this pond, because in this row crop farming that we're talking about, drip tape is critical, and understanding the directions of the flow of the ground is a must. So you have pump B and pump A. Pump A is the one that runs all the time. This was a 7-horsepower gas pump that we used. We set this up at the pond. And then what that allowed us to do is we then would mark out, okay, which way is our water flowing? So the water was flowing this direction because the ground was sloped this direction. Here in this field, the water sloped this way. And then this field here, the water sloped this way. So what we did is we established the fact. So we had a 7-acre field, a 4-acre field, a 5-acre field, and a 6-acre field. And this was a total of 22 acres. And we made 300,000 pounds of sweet potatoes on this ground. So what we did, we established that, okay, here's where I want my pumps. Here's where I need my stations, station 1, 2, and 3. These would be underground lines. So what we did is we knew we didn't want to put lay flat in, so we ran 3-inch line, and it come out of the pump. Now this is 3-inch line. Okay. Now, these blue lines represent underground 3-inch lines with risers that come up out of the ground, and then we would put concrete culverts over them so that if we weren't farming, the grass grew up, the cows or people, tractor, or whatever, wouldn't run over these risers. So this was established. This pump here had a rubber stinger hose on it, and then it had a rubber connection line where this came up out of the ground. So this stayed underground. You didn't have to worry about freezing. But this is a must to get this laid out. In my next video, I'll show you how it works to lay out your lay flat lines and how to map that out. And but this is very important for you to understand that this is the way it is. The green arrow, green line here is drainage, and we never plowed this up. See, Michelle's not here, and my mic's turned off, and I had the chat. I didn't click on it, Ron. So my bad. So listen, this is kind of a taste of my farm school. I literally show you how to lay your farm out. It covers A to Z. It covers everything. In my farm school, so somebody mentioned, well, won't the mice get in the potatoes? Here's what I do. I buy Tomcat bait poisoning. I go to the feed store, and what I do is I buy it around Christmas time. It seems like it's always on sale because nobody's bought it. Fall's over with, spring hasn't started, and you can buy it in the big bags. And I like the pelleted kind. And what I do is where my potatoes are, I throw that underneath a bin or in behind the freezers or wherever where a cat or a dog can't get to it. Now, here's the issue. Let's say your dog did get into that poison. The antidote for that poison is vitamin K. That's all you need. Because what rat poison does is it's blood thinner. And that blood thinner makes that rat's blood liquidy, and it actually goes into the capillaries of his lungs, and he drowns on his own blood. That's actually how it works. It's like blood thinner a heart person takes. So that is very, very important. You know, you bring this stuff about organic. I throw that. I don't pour it in there and mix it on top of the potatoes. All you got to do is put, you know how a mouse is. He's going to find wherever he's going to do. Now, my beans and things like that, I keep in glass. Because if you keep them in glass, but you want to make sure that's dry jar. Now, in the old days, they put mothballs. So I don't have to use mothballs up here where I live. We don't have a problem with moths. And we don't have problems with certain worms hatching out because we get really, really cold temperatures. But down in the South, what I would do is I would take a jar of these and I'd put one mothball in there and I'd tighten the lid on there and I'd put skull and crossbones on there saying you can't eat it. Y'all understand what I'm saying by that? Like, you don't want to eat this. If you put a mothball in it, don't eat it. Because what it does, it keeps the little eggs or any bugs that are in your beans. Now, then I would have jars of them that we use. And so that's why it's important to set those things up. Some of these things I have, I don't think about. It's just so common knowledge to me that it's just repetition of life. And I want to pour this into you. I do know in my farm school, I do go over the mothballs. I do go over the rat poison. But these are things that you need to do. Go in there and buy a big bag of it. Make sure you put it with vitamin K. And so what I've had dogs get into it before. And what you do is you have vitamin K. You can get it at a feed store, and it's an injectable vitamin K. And then there's tablets as well. And what I do is I figure what it shows on the body weight, what the dog needs, and I give him a little bit over that. I give him injection, and then I give him the same amount in the tablet form. And I also give him charcoal tablets. These things I used to all sell on my vet med company. I did all that until they put me out of business. And folks, listen, if you're going to buy something from me, and my website on my farm school, you can buy that, but I'm not allowed to sell products anymore. The only way I can sell products or sell anything anymore is you just text my wife, 208-875-9499. I'm not allowed to sell online anymore. I can't set up a Shopify or any of those accounts anymore because I was banned during COVID because of what I did for people. Yeah, because I taught, because what I did is, see, they don't care. Here's the issue, folks. They don't care if you know the truth. They don't care if you know that they're the bad guys. They don't care. What they care about is if you have the recipe. Because if you have the recipe, well, if you have the recipe and you have the product, then you can fix the problem. And that was what got me in trouble. I actually couldn't even use the word recipe on a lot of my Instagram. I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos that they took down during COVID because of all the stuff that I was telling about people, what they could do. And it's not my apothecary book. I can't say that because it's for entertainment purposes only, but that's on my website as well. But that's a great question. Somebody says, do you think they're doing this on vegetables just because, to make us afraid? Well, I don't know. The issue is I think it's a good thing to pray over your food. But we do know that we have a huge problem with our food, and you're importing it, and only 2% of all of organic food is even checked at the border. So you can't, and do you believe them? Do you believe them telling you the truth that it's organic product? I'd say try to find you a local farmer and learn to grow yourself. That's the whole issue. Here's another thing too. What I've been interested in is being on the Michelle Moore Show. How many of you really can? How many of you have access? Maybe I'm talking to somebody and you're in a high rise in Chicago. You know, that's the issue, is how many of you really have access, or you could plant part of your yard or whatever. You know, that's the issue, the lack of interest in people growing food and doing it. The problem is what people do, they decide you're a newbie. Okay, here's what you do. You start following, you want to get everything organic. It won't work, folks. You're a first-time gardener. You're going to go totally organic. You're in the South. You're going to be done. Your butt's going to be kicked so fast, and you're going to be 87% of all the people that moved to Idaho during COVID to be homesteaders are gone. They're not homesteading. You know why? Because they tried to go organic. They went out to the desert and stuck a tomato plant in, and they didn't have any water and no fence around it. The deer came and everything else came, and no rain came. Okay. So you have to do it a certain way. That's why I have my farm school. All right, let's see. The monarch caterpillars. Listen, I am growing these milkweed plants. I've got some growing right now. I'm going to start duplicating these as fast. I may have some for sale next year. So, but it's kind of a, you know, a lot of these plants are gone because they're broadleaf, and the big farming agriculture, big sprays, it's broadleaf plant, and that's what's sprayed. That's why the milkweed's gone, is because of the sprays. And don't blame the farmer, because on the roadside ditches, the county sprays the ditches too. So, you know, for certain weeds. Let's see. Okay, any place to get seeds that are not GMO. What you have to do is, you know, I don't, you know, I keep hundreds of pounds of seed on hand all the time because things just can go wrong for myself. What I did when the gentleman gave me the Christmas bean, he gave me 2 quart jars of Christmas bean. I planted them. I didn't eat any of them. I saved all of them. And now this is my 6th year growing these, and I have 300 pounds of them. And so that's what I did. When you find a good non-GMO bean, that's what you got to do. You don't eat them. You grow them and save the seed, and you plant for next time. And it's critical to take care of those. And the other thing too, I want to say about the people, because man, listen, I've caught so much flack about, you planted a Walmart bean, that's genetically modified, sprayed, and blah, 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 and all this. Listen, one thing I've noticed in farming, plants adapt. They do. And that bean, I'm in my 7th year on this pinto bean, and that was the original bean. I guarantee you that bean is nowhere near the same bean that I put in the ground from Walmart. It's adapted to Idaho weather, and in that bean, I believe that pinto bean will actually grow anywhere in the United States and maybe in the world, actually. So let's see. Any more questions here? All right, Ron, roll the next one. All right, so this picture right here, I can't stress to you enough, if you're a new gardener, I have so many people that contact me that use my moon phase calendar, and they do it. And yes, my moon phase calendar is $72 for 6 months. But the issue is that you will spend more money than that on seeds and all the stuff you do, and go in the store and all that stuff, and driving and all that. I want you to look at the size of this carrot. See, people plant on the wrong day. Now, last time, I mean, see that's a carrot. That's not a sweet potato, folks. That is a carrot. And when you plant that carrot in the right cycle of the moon, the energy is flowing down, so the root grows down and gets larger. If you're growing carrots and they got big old giant tops and they're going to seed and they're doing all that stuff, and they got little bitty tiny carrots on them, that's because you planted it at the time you should have planted corn or peppers or tomatoes or squash. You know, when the moon is gaining light, that means you got a new moon. New moon is completely dark. There's no light. Next day, starts gaining light. That is when you plant those crops that are above ground. And when you got a full moon, and the full moon right after a full moon, the moon starts losing light. Then you plant in those days. But the signs of the zodiac matter too. And I blend both of those. And please don't be spooky about the signs of the zodiac. I take all that devil stuff out of it. I use the pure signs, the sun, the moon, the stars. It just like the creator of the universe set it up. I don't all that reading your horoscope and all that stuff. No, I don't do none of that junk. Okay. That stuff will get you in trouble. All right. Okay. So, Ron, is that all the videos? If we're good on the videos, I got a word I wanted to share with everybody. This is something that's been very, very important to me for a long time. I spent 7 years on my deathbed, and one of the things that and I took a bath and I'm all dressed up for the show. I was going solo the second time, so I thought I'd dress up. I want to talk to y'all about anxiety because we post all this stuff about food's bad and, you know, your mother-in-law's bad and, you know, everything's bad. But I want to talk to you about living at peace in the bad. Because I've been up since 1:30 this morning. I drove my daughter to the airport. She's been here. She was modeling, and she has a little trouble with anxiety. And I've been telling her this stuff for years, but she's not listening. So I'm going to encourage you to get a pen and paper and write this down, because in Philippians 4:6, it says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything with prayer and supplication, let your requests be known to God, and the peace of God will guard your heart palpitations, stressed out, anxious, all that, and your mind, how you think. Okay. But the issue is that what I think, because when Michelle asked me to do Tuesday's show, I said, I've got to talk to people about this anxiety thing because it's coming up over and over. People are not resting. And I want to tell you that these are the things that I use. So I'm showing you what I do with potatoes. I'm showing you what I do with green beans. I'm showing you about the moon phase. I'm showing you things in the literal realm. Now I'm going to talk to you things that I do in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, these are the most important verses in the Bible for me. And I promise you, they'll do the same thing for you. 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. It's talking about thinking correctly. In these days that we're in, being able to discern what is going on, what's saying, if you got fear, it's not from God. Okay. That's what you have to understand. And in the Philippians, be anxious for nothing. Well, I was born anxious. Okay. And so was my daughter. And so, you know, she's all, you know, part of it's our personality. So I was born anxious. And that's what I used to say to God. God, you're telling me to be anxious for nothing. Well, I'm anxious about everything. But what I learned is there's a truth, and these are keys. It's just like the moon phase calendar. It's just like if you had the keys to the Bible, because you read the Bible, you don't know what it's saying. You don't. But I'm going to give you the keys, and here they are. The first key is 1 Thessalonians 5:23. I would read that before I read Genesis. Okay, and let me tell you why. Because 5:23 says, "I pray that your spirit, soul, body be blameless at the coming of the Lord Jesus." Okay. And the key is that he's dividing these things up. And see, what I'm going to tell you is the tabernacle of Moses is the biggest, because in the tabernacle of Moses, it talks about the outer court, inner court, holy place. And then you have to understand that in the scriptures, that these repetitive things are order. There's an order to scripture. And this order to scripture gets lost in topical preaching. And it doesn't allow you to be your own person in the Lord. So if you understand your spirit, soul, and body, and if you understand there's three parts of the tabernacle, outer court, inner court, holy place, if you'll understand that there's death, burial, resurrection, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, faith, hope, love. Okay? Jesus was prophet, priest, king. These are all through the scriptures, and these are keys, and they unlock things for you to get a proceeding word for yourself. You, by yourself, not from me, not from some fancy preacher. But what you have to understand is when I was very, very sick and I was very anxious and I was dying and I couldn't get rid of anxiety. And what I realized is that there are 3 Sabbaths. Now just hold on. But there is a Sabbath day of rest. God worked 6 days and 7th day. Was God tired? I don't think God was tired, but God rested. And then he said Sabbath, and Sabbath is a Saturday. And I'm not trying to get in a big, I'm not trying to get the Baptist in fight with the Seventh-day Adventist. Okay, I don't care. Worship any day you want to. But we're not talking about going and worshiping. We're talking about resting. We're talking about entering into a day where you do nothing. And this is what's hard. And there is a literal day. Saturday is the Sabbath. And the Sabbath, Saturday, is these things that are in the law in the Old Testament are a physical representation of a spiritual truth. If you have anxiety in your life, you lack the Sabbath day of rest that it's talking about in Hebrews. Okay? So you got a literal Sabbath, and then you got another day that's a literal day or a time period or a frame or a place of rest or complete peace. And the Bible says he who has entered this rest has ceased from his own labors, and his works do, they come after him. That means you're not sweating it. That means you have total peace. You have no anxiety. It's over. Because everything you do, you understand that there's a literal Sabbath. You understand that there is a Sabbath that is a day coming, and it's a Sabbath that you can enter in now. Many of you go to church all the time, and you're on Xanax. You talking about and pointing the finger about somebody drinking a beer, and you're doubling up on Xanax before you go to Sunday school. So please understand that these 3 Sabbaths are important. And the middle Sabbath is Christ. Christ said he is our Sabbath. And that's those 3 Sabbaths that you understand this. And when you do understand this, and you understand the tabernacle of Moses, and you understand this, and if you'll understand that on top of that, there were 3 priesthoods. And in these 3 priesthoods, I hope y'all are getting y'all a drink, because, man, I'm going to ask for an offering. Listen, there are 3 priesthoods. Do you know what priesthood you are? Do you know? Are you the Aaronic priesthood? Are you still going out and getting a bull and a lamb and a goat and turtle doves and flour? And are you sacrificing and stepping back and see if fire falls from heaven? Is that the priesthood you're in? Are you? Are you in that priesthood? Because if you are, you're under the law. You can't have peace under the law. Because Paul said the letter kills. It shows you. The letter shows you what's wrong. Are you the Levitical priesthood? This is a heavy one. Now I'm facing get in big trouble. Because here's the deal. The Levitical priesthood, is that the priesthood you are? Because the Levitical priesthood ministered to God, and they carried the Ark of the Covenant. And they took the tithes and the things for the people to give to the needy, to the people that were in need. And guess what? That's not today. Because the real priesthood we are, and if you ever get this drink, if you don't understand anything I'm understanding, saying, if you don't understand, the Melchizedek priesthood is the priesthood we are. And you go read Hebrews, and you go read that, and it says that those priests, if that deal all worked all the time, they would be doing that over and over. Can you imagine the children of Israel? Here it was. It'd been 364 days. And once a year, they did a sacrifice for atonement of all the sins. And you've been a bad dude. And it's day 364. you got your watch out, right? It's like, you better hurry up, because this has only been 1 year. I'm only forgiven for this 1 year. No, Jesus, he is our rest. He is our high priest. He is the priesthood of Melchizedek, and Melchizedek shows up in the scene. Go read the first time he shows up. The first time he shows up, Melchizedek shows up to Abraham. Abraham was promised to have children, and he didn't have any. And he shows up and he gives him bread and wine. Oh, we're going to go into that one day. And he says, you're going to have a son. And Sarah laughed. That's the reason they named him Isaac. Yeah, Isaac means laughter. And when Melchizedek, he was without father and mother, it's a picture. The Old Testament is a theatrical play and a layout of what is the thing that are in the New Testament and the things that are come and the things that are coming in your life all the time. It's always. Jesus is always coming. It's always moving. And this place of rest, if you think that you're part of the Levitical priesthood or the Aaronic priesthood, you're never going to have rest, because you can't accept the fact that when Jesus said it's finished, it's finished. And that's the issue. And so the anxiety is coming because, and I'll tell you this, I personally believe that 98% of all pastors in the United States do not know and cannot draw and cannot lay out what the tabernacle of Moses is showing a picture of. And what the tabernacle of Moses is showing is the crucifixion of Christ and entering into the Holy of Holies. And when you learn that, in that place is a place of joy. In the presence of God is the fullness of God. In the fullness of God, there is joy. And that's the reason I wrote a book on joy. It's free on my website, sass-usa.com. Thank y'all. Michelle, thank you for having me. Listen, I hope you got your drink. Send me an email. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, man.
Ever read the ingredients on your everyday products and think, wait, is this shampoo or a science experiment? If your lotion needs a translator, a lab coat, and a warning label, it might be time for a change. Godly Granny products are made with purpose, love, and ingredients you can actually recognize. No mystery chemicals, no toxins, just clean, simple goodness. The way Granny would have wanted, because your skincare shouldn't require a chemistry degree. From shampoo, lotion, skincare, and all natural health remedies, Godly Granny has everything your family needs. It's no wonder we have over 1,200 5-star reviews from our amazing customers to prove it. Join the families just like yours who've switched to Godly Granny. Visit godlygranny.com and sign up for our emails to receive a special discount code for 10% off your first order, plus exclusive updates and information on newly released products.
Hi, I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the inventor of the Wave Watch, the world's first frequency therapy watch. It features over 1,100 targeted frequencies combined into 150 playlists for ease of use. These sounds are acoustical and they move through your body, through your skin and your bones. You don't necessarily have to hear it. As each frequency goes through, it can be realigning, revitalizing, reconnecting, and even rebalancing your body all the way to the cellular level. So that's why we have so many testimonies for aches, ADD and ADHD, allergies, colds and flu, dental, emotions, headaches, joints, kidney stones, nerves, organs, skin health, swelling, tremors, vagus nerve, and so many more. Use this code for $100 off when you purchase the Wave Watch. Thanks for learning about frequencies, using them, and supporting the Wave Watch.
Universal Coin and Bullion is my partner for gold, silver, rare coins, and precious metal IRAs. For over 30 years, they've helped more than 500,000 customers and completed over $2.6 billion in precious metals transactions. They're offering callers 2 1-ounce American Silver Eagles and a 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagle at actual dealer cost. Call Universal Coin and Bullion today.
For Michelle's social media links, go to michellemooreshow.com.